Good morning, everybody. All things are possible. We're going to find that out real soon as we get into this. I do think all things are possible on Saturday when the football teams are playing. It's some moment when the kickoff happens that we all believe that we can win. Just at that moment. Now, as it goes along, we kind of figure out who's the favorite and who's supposed to win, that kind of thing. And most of the teams, if you don't watch the first quarter, you're really going to miss the game. Most people don't, except for Alabama. They usually just wear you out in the first quarter. So, and Clemson fans, you don't like that at all, but that's okay. We got it. I'm going to tell you a football story in a minute. But all things are possible. Last week, we talked about control, trying to hold on to everything, make everything right. When you have control issues, it's a trust issue that you don't have. I don't trust anybody to do it like I do it. Do you trust your child to clean the room like you would clean it? Absolutely not. That's not going to happen. Is it okay if they don't clean the room like you want it to be clean? And if you're a control freak, you would say, no, it's not. It's not okay. So these are things we have to think about. One of the things we're born with, too, is we like to criticize. That's part of who we are. We like to be critical. We like to criticize. We're going to talk about that today. Now, next week is needy people. Needy people. Anybody know any needy people? All right. Let's try to help you. Make sure that anything I say today, I could be talking to you, possibly. You could be one of those relational vampires that's sucking the life out of somebody, because you know who the other ones are, but we never really think that maybe it's me as we get into this. So we'll look at that, and we're going to talk about hypocrites the week after. You say one thing, do another. Anybody know anybody like that? That would not be you. Just throwing it out there. We do everything we say, right? We do everything we're supposed to do. Everything we say, we're going to do, that kind of thing. So we're going to talk about that. But let's talk about this thing when it comes to critical people. All of you have to understand, are born with this thing called criticism. How many of you that would be honest? Should we be honest here in church, maybe? Or should we be honest anywhere? Isn't it funny? We can only be honest in church. Well, let's try Monday. Let's see what we do. All right. Has anybody complained today? Raise your hand. All right. At least you're honest about it. That kind of thing. Some of you have complained that didn't raise your hand. It's because you're so used to it. It's just part of who you are. You don't like this, you don't like this. Have you ever had those people that you go into a place with, they just seem like they have the gift of finding something wrong? And it could be part of your family, that kind of thing. You walk in, everything looks really good. No, the lights are not right. The chairs are in the wrong place. It's too cold. It's too hot. One of the greatest places to criticize is church. To criticize the church, that is a really good place because that happens all the time. Everywhere you go, all over Facebook and everywhere, you will see where people are criticizing the church. Somebody didn't do it right. If you hang around long enough, I'm not going to do it right. I'm not going to say it right. I'm not going to do it right. Then you're going to get tired of it. You're going to try something else, that kind of thing. That's just the way we are. We're made like that. We're born, we're not liking things except ourselves. Now, we do like us. Isn't it amazing that you're the only one right and everybody else is wrong? That's the problem with criticizing and being critical. You're trying to tell people how they're supposed to. I would never wear that outfit. That's what you would say. I would never wear. How can that person even go out in public and wear that outfit? I can't believe it. I would never raise my kids like that. Well, how did they turn out? So this is what I'm saying. And then you become adults, and then the kids grow up, then they have kids, and then the grandparents try to tell you, this is how you ought to raise your kids. You see, that's how it works. And then they say, well, I would never spend my money on that. Well, what would you spend your money on? And every time I talk to my daughter about spending money, she would say, Daddy, you're just old. This is the new thing. I'm like, what, spending more money is the new thing? I think that's old too, that kind of thing. So we're always, whether it be clothing, whether it be, the church is the number one place. I think football is a really good place to criticize. I think that's a really good place. I would have never called that play, is what I hear a lot. I don't know why Dabo did that. Now, they had a break this weekend. Clemson had a break this weekend, but we love to be armchair quarterbacks, and I would never have done that. Of course, we've never played the game, and we've never been on the field, but I'm going to tell you what we ought to do, because that's who we are. We're born like that. We love to tell people what to do, don't we? We love to tell people that we're right, even when we're wrong. But you don't know you're wrong, right? Because you think you're right. So this is amazing how this works, because we're born like this. So we have to look at this thing we call criticism. And by the way, this critical thinking is sucking the life out of you, by the way. It's just not other people that don't want to be around you, by the way. It's kind of killing you too. And so you have to get a handle on it. And so I have some stuff for you, what Jesus did, what you should do, that kind of thing, as we walk through this. Here's what I want you to do. If you don't want to be criticized, I think the surprise to me was when I started the church, how much criticism I got. I was not expecting that. It really was overwhelming to me that think that people didn't like me because I was trying to do something good to reach people and help people. I didn't realize that there were people who didn't like that. I'll tell you a story in a few minutes. It's really amazing to me as we get into this. But here's, if you don't want to be criticized, let's do this. You want to read it with me? Okay, here. To avoid criticism, you ready? Say it with me. Do nothing. Say do nothing. Do nothing. Say nothing. Be nothing. How does that feel? You want to try it again? All right. Do nothing, say nothing, be nothing. This is the kind of person you want to marry right here. So you have to think about that. We really can't avoid criticism. Because if we were like this, you would say, this person, he's a bum. He don't work, he don't do nothing. So you would have something to say. I don't want to criticize this saying. And anyway, but this would be a rough way to live, that kind of thing. So we have to think about this. Someone in your life is critical. Now, again, it could be you. We're going to look at that as we go through this. But you have to think about this as we walk through. Who is it's in your life that's always telling you things that you really don't want to know? Could it be your boss? Could it be your parents? Could it be you? What didn't you like about Marathon when you came in? What did you say? There's a thought there. Is it too cold in here for some of you? Because I'll give you some church stuff. You want to hear some church stuff? And I'll tell you a story. It's too cold. Music's too loud. You like that? That is always good there. That's a good one there. The music's too loud. The messages are too shallow. This is the one that was really interesting to me. The church is a starter church. We're just a starter church, and then when you get through here, you can go to a real church. That's what I was told. So this is not a real church, but this is a starter church, and so you can go to a real church. And one of the reasons why they call it a starter church is because you can actually understand what the preacher is saying. And that's not normal. You should tell me something I don't understand. I'll give you some Hebrew in a minute. Just hang with me. So we have to think, is this what we want to do? Now, there's no way to avoid it, by the way. There's no way to avoid the criticism. You're going to get it. I think Facebook has let everybody know that I have an opinion. And sometimes it's not good. It's amazing we think we can get away with saying things. And you have to think, how would we do that? Now, I did something that was really, and this is a long time ago. Okay, some of you weren't even here. So I'm not even going to go back that far. But I did a mail out. Do you know what a mail out is? You get it in your mailbox. You remember those? You remember that? You used to get mail. Okay. So we used to send that. Actually, they still work. So I sent out this mail out. I had no idea this was going to happen because we're in the business of reaching people. I want to reach people. I love people. And here's what we're going to do. So I had this mail out. It had blue jeans on it. And it said church clothes. And it went out. Well, as soon as it hit the mailboxes, oh my, I was the devil. Everything hit. Every religious person in this town said we were the devil. I can't believe you do not wear blue jeans to church. Then the other thing was bad. We were serving food like donuts. So why would you serve donuts? I said, they're good. I like donuts. Why would you serve coffee? Because it's good. And then we had so many things that I had no idea that I was going to get criticized for. I had no idea. It was so bad, guys. It was so bad. Then I finally had to stop reading emails, taking phone calls, and I couldn't open my letters anymore. Then a website popped up. It says, I hate marathon. I'm like, what did we do? What? We're just trying to reach people. I sent a mail out. It says blue jeans on it. It has blue jeans, says church clothes, and the whole world has lost its mind because everybody has an opinion. But you know what happened? This helped me. This is what happened. Y'all came. The church filled up because nobody ever said church clothes was blue jeans. And the church filled. Now it's everybody. Everybody wears blue jeans. Even the traditional churches are now saying it's okay to wear blue jeans. But at that moment, I realized I had to figure out, because I didn't know, because I don't like being talked about bad. Do you? I don't like being criticized. What I really hate is when they say things that are not true. I don't like that. I didn't like that at all. They did that to Jesus, of course, but they were doing it, and I was getting it. They were saying things that we were a cult, and we had kegs in the back, and ashtrays in the aisle, and all this stuff, and it was amazing. And we're doing drugs in the parking lot. Of course, that's probably true. But I'm just saying, there was this stuff, and you say, well, how did I handle it? I didn't handle it good at all. I'm like you. You think pastors are above this? Do you think pastors can get criticized and get wounded and everything? They're bigger than that. No, they're not bigger. They quit. They quit. My calling is higher than the criticism. That's the only way you stay in. You love people. There's so many pastors that are quitting. There's a shortage of pastors, and the churches are trying to figure out what to do. Most of them are closing their doors and trying to combine together in order to have a church. Because the criticism, I did not expect. I did not know what was going to happen. My aunt told me before I died, she said, don't start a church, Eddie, they'll kill you. I'm like, they're not going to kill me, they're going to love me. No, they're going to kill you. Well, y'all didn't kill me. But there are people who would. And they're still doing it. So this was very hard for me. What was really interesting was when we started the other churches, what helped me, I told you about 2 weeks ago, what helped me, they started firing at them and left me alone for a little while. And I thought, oh, that's nice. Let Perry Noble get it all. That's beautiful. And that's what happened. But if you go, here's what you got to know. If you're not doing anything, nobody's going to say anything. But if you're going to do something, then you got to get ready for the criticism, especially when it's a higher calling. If I'm trying to reach people and I'm trying to move the kingdom of God, you better get ready. But let me say this. I'm not telling you it didn't hurt. I'm not telling you that I didn't want to quit. I'm not telling you. Most people won't do this. And I understand why. But you're worth it. The calling is higher than the criticism. That's where you have to go. There's a different place that we live. It's not easy to get there. I'll tell you some more in a minute. But how do we deal with this? How do you deal with criticism? Well, the first thing that you probably need to do, and you just simply do not respond to it. I told several of our churches and pastors when they started, everybody hated us. This is years ago. They thought we were crazy, blue jeans, the whole deal, the band, the screens, all that. And I told them, I said, just don't respond. Don't respond. Don't poke the fire. Leave it alone. Most of the people who are criticizing have never been. They have never seen, and they don't know. That's what usually happens. But here's what hurts me. If you want to know what, it isn't so much that I get it, my family gets it. My daughter still gets it at school. And she says, I can't go anywhere. Everybody knows who I am, and and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. But here's what bothers me the most is when people criticize and say things about church and Marathon, and the people have no idea who we are, see that, and they won't even give Marathon or God a chance because some religious person didn't like something. That's what bothers me. Shoot me all day, but don't shoot them. And that's what bothers me. That's why criticism and being critical, we have to guard our words and what we do. Sometimes we just don't need to respond. You're not obligated to respond to everything. You're not going to win to make everybody right. Brian told you he was playing golf, my brother, and a golf ball came in, almost hit him. Well, Thursday, we had a hurricane. Y'all remember the hurricane? Well, it went away Thursday afternoon because I talked to God and I said, hey, I need you to move that. You know I don't have that power, right? Everybody I do like the people who get married like on Saturday and like outside. I love this. This is so good. You'll love this. They come to me and said, you need to pray, Pastor, that it doesn't rain on that Saturday. I went, okay. Of course, it's going to cost you extra. But I was like, okay. And so I was like, I wanted to play golf. I did not like the hurricane coming in, so me and God had a powwow and everything worked out. So I'm on a par 3 hole. I'm standing there putting my clubs up, and this is what happened. I'm putting my club. We're not off the hole. We haven't left yet. Does everybody understand? We're still hittable, you know? So I'm putting my clubs up, and I hear this word for. Does everybody know what for means? It doesn't mean for you. It means you're about to get hit. They holler for. I'm like, why would you be? I'm not even off. The ball comes and lands beside me. It's a yellow ball, by the way. I remember the color. I don't know why I remember the color. Most of them are white. It lands beside me. So I turned around and looked at them, and then I kneeled down beside the golf cart like this. Y'all believe this? I did not do this. I did not do that. Y'all are way too spiritual in here. You know what I did? I did what you did. I stood like this. I did. I stood like this. Hit another one. That was stupid, though, wasn't it? That was real. Like, I have nothing. I'm not firing back. Like, go ahead. Am I not somebody? Am I insignificant and I'm not seen anymore? I was like yelling. And then Mark, my buddy, he was like, Eddie, get in the golf cart. I said, I want this guy. I want that guy. You see, that's like, you know. And so finally, I calmed down. See, that's the part you don't want to be Jesus right there. That's the part you don't want to be Jesus. Because if I'm Jesus, there's not 4 people up there anymore. I just wiped him out with the Eddie Hurricane. Just went, you see what I'm talking about? So what do I do when something happens like that? What happens when you're criticized? What do? Sometimes it's best not to respond. Just let it go, but we'll get there. This is what happened with Jesus. And let me tell you what they said about him, because y'all know who he is, right? Does everybody know who Jesus is? The Son of God who came to earth, died, rose again, and his blood covered our sin. That's that guy. Okay, so here's what they're saying about the Son of God. It's hard to believe it, but they called him an alcoholic. First of all, he's an alcoholic. He's a drunk. I guess those two things go together, but I'm just telling you separately what they're saying. An alcoholic, a drunk. But here's the other thing. He was a friend to sinners, and he partied too much. That's what they said about him, among other things. So you can just see how this is going. Now, I really probably wouldn't want to mess with him, being the Son of God. And I'm so glad he didn't get mad. He came to love us and to save us, not to destroy us. Aren't we glad? I'm telling you. So here's what he did. This is how he did this. He said, they hurled insults. Let me move that. I'm going to show you this. They hurled insults at him. He did not retaliate. He didn't get back. I will tell you right now, somebody saying bad things about you, you're probably not going to win. You're probably not going to win. When he suffered, he made no threats. Instead, he entrusted himself to him who judges justly. He said nothing. He did nothing because his calling was up here and it wasn't down here. His calling was higher than the criticism. Let me tell you, it takes a lot of spirituality to get there. There's been so many times that I wanted to hurt people. They have said so many things about my family and lied about me. I'm ready. Where are they? I'm just like you. But you know what? It would have done no good. It would have done no good. Sometimes you just need to say nothing. And here's what Proverbs says, Proverbs 19:11. A person's wisdom yields patience. It is the one's glory to overlook an offense. I want you to look at this overlook. I'm going to give you some Hebrew. In the Hebrew, overlook means pass over. It's a form of forgiveness that says, I'm not going to respond. I'm not going to respond to the accusations that you have just made in my life. Now, I don't know who needs this. Somebody just got accused of something just happened. Truth wins. But this is a form of forgiveness. And it says, I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go there. Overlooking offenses isn't pretending it didn't happen. And, Facebook and all that. Conscious decision to what? Let it go. Let it go. Y'all want to sing that? Wasn't that beautiful right there? Tell me that was beautiful. So don't tell me. Say it. Just say it. So you don't have to criticize it. Just say it's beautiful. He said, do you want me to lie to you? Yes. Lie to me. Let it go. And this is one of the things Jesus did. Forgiveness in real time. Forgiveness in real time. You better be careful. But when it comes to those emotions, and when those things rise up, when that golf ball comes in, oh, I was thinking, I got a 7-iron, I could hit it back. I don't know if I could have hit them because I didn't hit the green to begin with. But I think I could hit. I've been mad enough. I'm saying, so some of this in real time says, I'm not going to respond. This is the hardest part. This is where the Christian part and all the things that God has taught us about responding to people who criticize and all the things that happen and say things that aren't right about us. There's so many lies that have been told about you. There's so many lies been told about me. At some point, you just can't win. You just have to do what you're supposed to do. The calling is up here. The criticism stays here. And I know that people who live in that critical world are not going to have a lie. Now, here's my fear for you, and I got to be careful with me, that the criticism and all the stuff that happens, it doesn't turn me into somebody I'm not. That's what I'm afraid of. You say, how do you have you handled the criticism? Have you handled all the critical people? Has it made you bitter or better? And I think it's a little bit of a toss-up sometimes. I think it's a little bit of a toss-up. Because I didn't know it was going to be this bad. I did not know it was going to hurt this much. I did not know it would damage my family so bad. So this is why everybody quits. Because it's hard to do and hard to stay with it. But you matter more than they matter. This is what happened with Jesus. Our souls, it doesn't matter what they say, it's what I'm going to do. That's the same way with me. It doesn't matter what people say, it's what I'm going to do. And the calling is higher than the criticism. And so sometimes you just have to let it go or you won't go on. It'll damage you so much, you become critical. Now, are you there? Are you there yet? You don't like anybody, you don't like nothing. Everywhere you go, you just don't like it. It doesn't taste right, it doesn't smell right, it's too cold, they're not friendly enough, the chairs are all wrong, the parking place, it's raining. You found your groove yet? This is what happens. And sometimes you just got to let it go. And this is what happened with Jesus. This is what's going to happen with most of us. Second thing to how you do this is you have to make sure you respond carefully. And here's what I'm going to say to you before we get to the next part. Do not respond to criticism on Facebook. Meet them face to face. If you don't know who they are, do not respond. I just mentioned Perry Noble, and he'll probably text me, but we had a conversation years ago. I said, these people are firing at you. I said, what you need to do is let it go. Don't fire back. But he likes a fight. He likes a fight, so he fires back. And then they fire back, and he fires back, and if you're not careful, it will damage you, and you'll have a critical spirit if you fire enough. I've never met somebody that's so sweet and positive. When you look at Facebook, I've never met those people who put all those comments out, how the whole world's going here, and I don't like this. They usually aren't sweet, nice, positive people, because they've been damaged somewhere, and almost every time you can write it down, the criticism and the critical thinking is coming out of an emotional hurt, and you happen to be the one to get it. So I have to realize that not every time you shoot or they shoot or whoever shoots, it's really because you don't like or you want to hurt. It's really because you're the one that's hurting. Let me read this to you. Make sure you respond carefully to criticism. And you need to make sure that you do it in a gentle way and you don't do it over Facebook. I'm going to read the verse and I'm going to tell you what this is all about. They were firing off at Gideon. Everybody had come around and they started criticizing and fussing and hollering, and everybody's yelling at Gideon. And he was ignoring them. And finally he couldn't ignore anymore, and here's what he says. Then the people of Ephraim asked Gideon, why have you treated us this way? They said that they had been treated a certain way. And you were not going to believe what this is over. Why didn't you send for us when you first went out to fight the Midianites? And they argued heatedly with Gideon. This whole argument is over grapes. You say there's no way that we would fuss like that. Yes, we would. You see, he went out and God gave him all these things, and the other country had bigger grapes. So he went and got the bigger grapes, and he didn't invite them in on it, and they're mad because he got the bigger grapes and he did not invite them in. Why do you treat me this way? Why don't you share your grapes? That's what happened. I was at a conference. You said we would never fight like this. We've never fight over grapes. Will we fight over football, yes or no? Yes, we would. We would fight over football. And we have to be very careful when you mix pastors and football in the same place. You got all these emotional people who have already been wounded and hurt, and they're mad when they get there, and then you're going to throw a football team in there. And this is what happens. So we throw this football team together, and we got one guy over here wearing an Alabama shirt and one guy over here wearing a Clemson shirt. Now, this has just happened where Clemson won the national championship. So they're talking. So the Alabama guy says, you know that we were the best team on the field. Oh, no, here we go. And the Clemson guy says, well, you wasn't that day. And oh no, here we go. And they're bowing up. Everybody's bowing up. And then this was chiming in. South Carolina's jumping in now. Everybody's jumping in. Georgia's jumping in. South Carolina's jumping in. And finally the guy walks up that's over the conference and says, you guys, we're not talking football here. People are dying and going to hell, so let's leave the football out. And you say we won't fuss over grapes. We will. You got to be careful. You got to be careful. When emotions are high, wisdom is low. When the golf ball is hitting on Eddie Cox, his wisdom goes way down. You see how they're way down, way down. I did not want to send a text. I wanted to send a golf ball back. But I'm going to give you something real. I'm going to give you some advice that might help. You get something on a text and you're mad. I don't know how many of you ever written out a text and you're just waiting to hit the button. Hold on a minute before you hit send. Here's what I would say. Never text an emotion. Only text information. Do not respond on Facebook with an emotion. If you have something to say to the person who did this, then you need to meet with them face to face. Because when you send a text, it doesn't have emotion to it, and you'll say one thing, they'll take it another way, and everybody's mad at the whole world. Happens every day. Every time. And then I see you fight. Can y'all quit fighting? I see families fighting, husbands, wives fighting on Facebook. Have you seen that? They're talking about my wife didn't treat me right, my husband didn't treat me right, and they ain't doing this right, my kid. I'm like, what? We don't want to be in your house. We got enough problems. We don't want to be there. You better be careful with this. Better be careful. Most angry people are usually hurting people. So it's really not you. I'm going to read this to you. A critical spirit is a wounded spirit that is looking for a place to unload its pain, and you happen to be the closest thing. Your boss is so mean to you. Here's what I would do. Can you look past the words and look at the life and see what's going on? That's what I have to do all the time. When I get shot at and people shoot me, I check. All you got to do is look at, it's about the life, right? It isn't about the words. It's about the person. If you look deep enough and you look far enough, you will see what I'm talking about. Somebody's hurt, and you're getting it. And this is what is happening. Somebody's got to unload it somewhere, and you're going to be the closest thing. Can I say this real quick? Are you unloading? Are you critical? Are you the one that I'm talking about in this room? Maybe you should ask your friend, or maybe they're afraid. Maybe they're afraid of you. I'm not going to tell them they're critical. They'll chew my head off. Do you know that do you know emotionally what happens? You become dead inside. Do you know that? You become dead and critical, and life has no more meaning and has no more purpose. And then all of a sudden you're like that quote, just be nothing and do nothing, and you don't have to worry about nothing. You remember when life used to be fun? You used to couldn't wait to get up in the morning. It's Monday morning, yay! How many do that? Anybody here? I still do that. I still like going to work because you're a part of work. We'll talk about you. We'll pray for you. We will send cards out to you. I have a really fun job. I got a great staff. I love my staff. But I have been wounded. I have been hurt. I could go the other way anytime. Anytime. I have to be careful. Guard your heart. You may be the one who's losing. Some people make cutting remarks, but the words of the wise bring healing. I want to bring healing to you. I don't want to tear you up. I could tell you my sad stories, and I could tell you how bad I've been hurt, and all that stuff and everything. The easiest thing to do that most pastors have done would just quit. I'm in ministry 21 years, and I'm in the top 1% of people who made it in America. And it's because of critical thinking and critical people that have tore them down and tore their family up. I don't know a pastor that doesn't deal with this. The only job that's harder than this is being the president. And the problem with that is he tweets too much. He's always tweeting something. I'm going to get those Democrats today. He tweet. I can hear that. But I'd like to know what you do. This is where I have to measure my heart, because I could be really negative and really mad and really hate people. And sometimes I get off by myself somewhere and I just start chewing up people. Do you ever find yourself doing that and nobody's in the car and you're yelling at them? You ever done that? You wonder where that comes from. It's we were born that way. Watch this. I can be critical. Why? Pride, ignorance, and hurt. Somebody got something I didn't. You didn't get all the facts. Somebody hurt you. Why be critical at all? Why do we have to even say it? Since we're the ones that's supposed to bring life, right? Since we're the ones that are supposed to be the light up the room, right? We have Jesus Christ, and we're the light up the room. When you walk in, do people welcome you or they avoid you? How about at home? How about, the husband and the wife? How y'all treat each other? It is amazing that one day you get married and it's like, oh, and it's like angels singing and everything. Then we take two people who have never lived together and we stick them in the same house and we just would watch. What happened? You don't do this, you don't do that. I didn't know you were like this. And of course you didn't know all that. We just got you in the house. Welcome to marriage. You're going to have to work. See, I think people don't get that. Love, you have to work at. Or we can go back to whatever we are. This is what Paul said. He said, so why do you keep condemning one another? What he's saying, the believer. Why do you look down on one another? Why do you do that? He said, remember, we're all going to stand before the judgment seat of God. This is Romans 14:10. We're all the same. What makes you better than me? We've all been redeemed by Jesus Christ. Can you imagine, God looked at the world. He said, 7 days. He created the world. He didn't say, this is bad. He said, no. Aren't you glad God's not negative? He said, this is good. And then it went bad. And then he said, well, I got to make it good. So he sent Jesus Christ. And then we went back to good. Because Jesus Christ came. He died. He sacrificed. He rose on the third day so that you and I would have a conversation today. This is what he said. So why? So let's stop condemning each other, decide instead to live in such a way will not cause another believer to stumble and fall. We are to bring life with our words and our life. The only good that happens is that you bring it. The only good that's going to happen in your life and other people's life is that you decide to bring it. You can be negative, you can be critical, you can just disappear, or you can bring it. See, I have chosen to bring it, not to disappear. Collins up here, criticism down here. I don't know who I'm talking to, but with somebody in this room, you don't need to let it go. You just be done with it. You're never going to win firing back. Y'all stand with me. All things are possible with God. Marathon has just put out this with us. It's amazing what we're going to do. We're going to reach 5,000 people by 2025. And you know that people don't believe that. Our critics are saying they'll never do it. Why do we do that? Why do they do that? Shouldn't they say, I'm pulling for you, I'm praying for you? No. Why do we want to tear down other churches? Why are we glad when other churches are having problems? New Spring has problems. We're glad. We Facebook it. And people do that. Why? The Bible says stop doing that. All things are possible. Will we reach 5,000 people by 2025? Well, sure we will. We've done it before. We'll do it again. We have over 3,000 salvations right now. Are you going to help me do that? You want to try that again? I didn't. Y'all want to help me do that? Yes. Yes, we are. If somebody says, what's going on at Marathon? God's going on in Marathon. When people say, I heard, you heard wrong. See, this is what happens. You've heard criticism of Marathon. You may even been some of it. Let it go. It's about people. It's about moving the kingdom. It's about reaching more people with Jesus Christ. Don't worry about the rest of it. That's what we do. Let's pray together. Father, thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for the people in this room. I pray, Father, we have issues. We're critical, our critical spirit. Father, somebody in this room just needs to let it go. And I pray that you will help them do that. We don't want to fire back. We just want to reach. We want to do what you did. And this morning, if you'd like to accept Jesus Christ into your life, he came for you. If you'd like to accept Jesus Christ in your life, pray this prayer with me. Jesus, I ask that you come into my life and change me and make me a new person. I want to follow you. I ask that you forgive me of my sin. Forgive me for not following you sooner. I believe you died for me. I believe you rose from the dead. Thank you for hearing my prayer and changing my life forever. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. If you prayed that prayer, we're going to have people all around. They'll be holding up a book. They would love to talk with you and pray with you. I have an announcement I want to make. And Chase, if you'll come on up here. Da, da, da. Did it sound like I was leaving or something? No, I got an announcement. This is one of the best things. Come on over here.
Did you say
I know. I was like, what is that? What is that? Hey, don't go tweet nothing. Don't tweet nothing. Tweet this. Chase Callahan is going to be our new student pastor.
Yeah,
we are,
super
yes. So he's been helping us. We know him, and Casey, y'all know him. And so,
absolutely.
Thank you.
I'm really excited about it. Me and my wife, we've been here for a while, but here's what I need you guys to do. I think you saw the picture of our preteen room. That's just part of one of the phases of what we're going to do. I need you to get your students here. Wednesday nights at 6:30, or if you have a 4th through 6th grader, we meet both services back over there in the garage and in this new room. And so if you can, I love his message today. I listened to it twice, and I think it's just amazing how he's humble about it. But the truth is that, hey, we got action to take. And so get your kids here Wednesday nights, 6:30, or if you have some preteens, we'd love to hang out with them too, all right? I'm looking forward to it, but I'm going to call on you parents too and be like, hey, how can I help you? So thanks for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Chase.
Yeah.
Needy people. Bring all the needy people with you next week, all right? See ya.